Hey YouTube, how the hell are we doing? It is Foul Play here, and we're back again for another Pauper League. So continuing with the Bogles deck, we are data mining currently with the main deck Lotus Pedal. Allows you to do some interesting things, but more on that later. The main deck has remained unchanged from the previous league, so we're going to keep that the same, but the metagame's evolved a little bit, so we will be adjusting the sideboard slightly. So here on MTG Goldfish, showing Pauper decks that have been popular for the last 7 days, we can see Core Gates has popped up to 18% play rate, which is pretty high, or at least an 18% return rate on tournament results. So still a very impressive and strong number. So we will be actually adjusting the sideboard for that. So, making its way into the deck will be 3 copies of Flaring Pain, a card we have used before, and we're going to be siding out the standard Bearer to make room for that. So, still utilizing Scattershot Archer, Young Wolf, and Crimson Acolyte, and that one of Janky Gutshot. Alright, so match number 1, we lost the die roll here. Starting hand is looking good, so we'll keep the 7. Alright, so possibly a Dimir control deck. We draw Forest for turn. So the latest list I've seen on Dimir control have only main deck interaction in form of Suffocating Fumes. Should be safe to play out the Scout here, hopefully. Suffocating Fumes being 3 mana, so we'll have time to get that point of toughness in before it affects us. Alright, so here we have a choice. I guess we Utopia Sprawl for white. And then we can Abundant Growth on one of them, drawing a card. Maybe we find a cartouche, we don't. So then we throw down Sentinel's Eyes, attack on in. So next turn we can Abundant Growth plus Masks for a big chunky attack. Alright, so opponent mental notes, targeting himself. Milling the Modern Age. I'm pretty sure at this point we can confirm our opponent is on a Dimir control list. And we go ahead and draw an Armadillo Cloak, so that'll be nice. We'll keep the Trample as secret for now. And we'll just go ahead and load up with our Ancestral Mask. So plan remains unchanged. That's an attack for 10. With Trample to follow next turn. Even if they put up a couple of big fatties, I think our creature's a little bit out of reach. Opponent does scoop that one up. So, sideboard cards of note include Chainer's Edict and Shrivel. So, Shrivel being a 2 mana neg 1 effect, and Suffocating Fumes, neg 1, but it has Cycle, so that's for 3 mana there. A reminder as well, if you find this video informative or entertaining, please be sure to consider subscribing, liking, or commenting down below. So, Young Wolf, definitely a card that we're going to be boarding in as a 4 of as well. So, cards to board out here. I usually board out some number of Ancestral Mask. They are a little bit stronger because our opponent does have a lot of enchantments that buff them. But at the moment, I'm on 2 Mask out, 2 Lotus Petal out. It's possible that we should just be dropping more Lotus Petal, or it's possible on the draw Lotus Petal is pretty strong. And it'll help us avoid those board sweeping effects. Alright, so opponent mulligans to 6. This hand doesn't have like great protection from Chainer's Edict. It's also pretty slow, and we don't have access to white mana. I think we can do better. Alright, this certainly looks better, but it doesn't have Edict protection. Opponent mulls to 5 though. So we'll go ahead and keep this. I guess we throw 1 Utopia Sprawl back. Hope being on the draw, we hit a land drop. And hopefully we hit some Edict protection too. Alright, so there comes the land. Our opponent on a 5 card hand. So they've gone ahead and kept that one. We'll run out our creature, I think. Oh, immediately on the mental note. I think if I had Cartouche in hand, I'd play it a little bit more conservatively. Alright, so opponent does go for the Brainstorm now. So that means no Chainer's Edict yet. Alright, we find Forest as well, and Forest is really nice because it lets us spew out 3 auras now and gives us an attack for 6. So relying on Plains alone would have been slightly less tempo there. Next turn we get an attack for 13, so we're 1 off lethal. Obviously we're very vulnerable to a blowout here though. Alright, and there it is. There's the Chainer's Edict. So we're going to have to... The top of our library is going to be our friend, and so far that is not the case. Alright, so the opponent with a Mental Note milling Unexpected Fangs. Oh, sorry, Thought Scour milling Mental Note, Unexpected Fangs. And then playing out the Talarian Terror. Noting that they did miss the land drop, of course. We can just throw down everything this turn, so I suppose we do. It's better if we draw another 3 mana aura next turn to already have Ancestral deployed. It gives our opponent information, and it's weak to a second Chainer's Edict. Alright, there is land into Chainer's Edict, so we're going to get one of those back. Young Wolf's going to come back too. Apparently we have to stack these. Alright, an opponent does decide to attack, so they're not too concerned here. It probably means that they have another fatty in hand. We get a return attack for 5. The main weakness to this wolf at the moment is no first strike, so if we get in a battle against a chump blocker, we could be in a lot of trouble. So arguably punished for playing out the mask as well. Alright, that's 3 Chainer's Edicts out of a possible 4. Opponent's got to be very pleased with that. 3 in hand. Alright, so opponent smacks in. We're down to 5. Second Talarian Terror. That is good game. Alright. Fortunately, we have a game 3 to help decide this. Alright, going into game 3, we'll leave this one unchanged. Alright, so we now see this hand. It's a little bit questionable, really. We don't have access to first strike here. We have decent mana. We could turn to a cloak, but that doesn't give us edict protection. Honestly, I think we could see better 6s. This beats like a medium hand from our opponent though, and if we top deck well, we're in a good spot. I think the correct decision is to mulligan, though I can definitely see a case to keep this. Alright, this hand's actually a lot stronger. We have access to our white mana. And, you know, Young Wolf Cartouche is very good protection. Alright, let's go ahead and keep this. Turn 1 Young Wolf, turn 2 cycle Ash Barrens for Plains, play Cartouche, attack for 2, etc. Opponent has also kept 6 cards. Opponent with the Nihil Spell Bomb for our one of. We've got a one of. God, my brain's absolutely working here, right? We've got a one of Sentinel's Eyes. I guess it helps deal with the Young Wolf Undying trigger as well, so it's possibly not quite as bad as I was originally giving it credit for. So here I think we want to be as aggressive as possible, so we'll eat up our Lotus Petal here. Although it means we might not be able to resolve Ancestral Mask next turn. Alright, so opponent with Mental Note, bricking on land drop. That's unfortunate for our opponent. We get a nice attack for 9 here. Putting our opponent to 8. So one more attack and we take this one. Alright, so Thought Scour ditching Aquifer and Modern Age. They hit their land drop. And opponent concedes. Alright, that's good. A good game 1. We managed to take that one there. That's the power of winning game 1 is you get to be on the play in game 3 and it helps out a lot. Really takes the pressure off. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you are new here, if you did enjoy the video, please consider sticking around. That subscribe button is always there. And as always, I would love to hear any commentary from you guys, any discussion points. Hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.